we've at last got Boris out of the office.
Well, the thing is, though,
It's gone quiet this week. I'm gonna hear a peak out of him.
Yeah, what I like to do is for Neville and Mr. Wansky and Everton, to introduce what it's about, because I am clueless. I know there's a leadership race going on for this the Tory party.
Yeah.
But apparently Neville's got something with some. Is it Femi or Kemi or whatever her name is?
Yeah,
Kemi.
Yeah.
Kemi. And then and he's for the prosecution, and the defence, Mr. Wansky, Everton Elliott himself.
Yes.
I'd like to know what the hell's going on.
Okay, let me start
Is
first.
Is there a victim mindset? And are we on the victim Olympics?
No, right. Mike, okay, let me start. Right, yeah, right. Labour, for all of its diversity and inclusivity rhetoric, yeah, I've never put forward, for example, a female leader. They had that lady, short-haired lady, I've got her name now, deputy leader for a while.
Yeah, Harriet
Harman, yeah, Birmingham. Harriet Harman was deputy or stand-in for a while they were choosing a new leader. Yeah, that's the nearest to come. Yeah, and same for when it comes to ethnic minorities leadership. They've had Diane Abbott, they've had Bernie Grant, they've had numerous David Lammy, but they've never taken a front row seat. And okay, yes, Diane Abbott was shadow Home Secretary, I suppose. Yeah, but I'm not sure how many of you would recommend her if she was in government that she'd be the Home Secretary. I'm not sure how many would do that, but fair enough. But meanwhile, the Conservatives have had 2 female prime ministers, and now in the leadership contest, they've had a massive showing of, sorry to use the word, BME, yeah, Black ethnic minority people in the running, yeah, and yes, quite a few of them are Asian, which may upset a few people of color, because they see the Asians as being maybe white adjacent, or being the model immigrant population, because how they appear and how they pop up in the higher parts of society. But then we had a lot of bad press being given to the one and only Black female candidate. In any other circumstances, this would have been applauded. If this was a Labour Black female running for the leadership of the party, this would have been applauded. This would have been seen as some sort of marker of the progress of society. But no, she has been hammered. Why has she been hammered? She's been hammered because she's expressing conservative views. She is a conservative. 2 conservative MPs to vote for her or not vote for her. Yeah.
Is she being hammered by?
By numerous people. For example, the thing that that Neville emailed us, right? This thing, Femi Sorry, a very famous guy from the Brexit campaign, who's a Remainer. Yeah, he's very, very famous. He's been all over TV when we were doing the Brexit period as an anti-Brexit campaigner par excellence. Yeah, he was everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And when the Remain vote lost, it was crying, right? Yeah, but now he's popped up again as another talking head for the progressives in every way, shape and form. I think he's Nigerian himself as well, Nigerian descent, I believe himself. Yeah, but he's not happy with Kemi, because Kemi is not showing the right attitude towards CRT or systemic racism or any of those things. Yeah. You lost sound. I can't hear you, Tony.
It's on phone.
Oh, fine. Oh, so I'm just saying that yes, you can criticize conservative policy. We got to keep that separate from criticizing a female Black candidate who, by all progressive standards, ticks all the boxes for the intersectional. So that's where I'm at. I think a lot of people's problem with her is that she's the wrong kind of black. That's what it is.
Okay. For
When you
me,
say the wrong kind of black, what do you mean by that?
Well, for example, right, yeah, just show you an example how it all goes. For example, when we had, for example, when they had the Grenfell fire investigation, the committee or the investigative group calling witnesses and to make the report, Trevor Phillips, who was one of the first black holders of the Equal Opportunities Post when that first came out, first was running. He was a long-standing president of that, or CEO, or however the leader of it. He wanted to be on the committee. His name was put forward. There are massive objections. I don't. Do you remember who Trevor Phillips is? Trevor Phillips? Yeah.
Yeah,
There are
you
massive objections to him, right? Yeah. Because
yeah,
he is the chair of the
yeah.
Equal Opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd think he'd be ideal candidate, but no, because in the recent few years he's come out against some of the views of some of the progressives on race and ethnicity. Yeah. So because of that, even though he's black, we've been disqualified. Yeah. I don't think he served in the end. He didn't bother pursuing it in the end. Yeah. But this is how we're operating. So, for example, if I was to publicly go against some of the tenets of what people call, I don't know, this progressive attitude on CRT, systemic racism, anything like that, then I'd be out. For any black committees to be run, I would be pushed out. I'll not be allowed on it. Yeah, people put pressure to make sure I would not stand on it. So this is how it works. Yeah. So to me, the criticism of Kemi just comes into that same ballpark. So people are doing her down instead of pushing her up because she has the wrong views. She's the wrong kind of black.
she definitely. She 100%.
Well, and thanks for that,
Cheers.
Everton.
Go on.
What's your view on it, Neville? Because you sent out this video, and then you using the words trans white.
Oh, that's what I'll decide to call her, and I'd call her trans white to her face.
Okay, yeah, okay, but why? What's the reason?
Her problem is the same problem as most of those people who are in the Conservative Party that are non-white. They are used in a way to talk down to people of their own colour and say that everything that you think is wrong is the other way round. There is no such thing as racism against you. You got it wrong. Everything's fine. Even Priti Patel is exactly the same. She's even admitted that using her policies today, when her parents came across, she wouldn't be in this country. But they push it forward like it's absolutely totally acceptable. They make the black people and the Asians stand up for everything that's absolutely vile and then deliver that to the masses of people like you should accept it because but what Kemi forgets to understand, and this is where I think you would run circles around her. She said there's no such thing as racism and hasn't been in the
no, she didn't say that. No, misrepresenting what she said. She doesn't say that. Carry on.
What did she say?
She said there's racism, but it's not the number one problem, right? Yeah.
There is racism, but it's
not the number one problem. Go and carry on. Yeah.
So she doesn't see it as being a problem because
no, Neville.
Go on. Everton, let me finish first.
No, we can't misrepresent.
I'm not misrepresenting you. You can play that video back later.
I've watched that several times, right? I assure you.
Her problem is this. She believes because she was able to go and pay for private education, her parents were, and she got into the best schools, and she's doing very well out of it. Every single black person has had that opportunity. That's how she believes. Yeah? But what she fails to see is that as her name and the whole of her name, before she married the Scottish guy, is an African name, 100% African. So when you're looking at people like us, Elliot, Bennett, Brown, Shearer, Williams, we do not hold African names. Why? We are quite clearly of African descent. And the reason is because our forefathers at some stage took on the name that was given to us by the slave owners, because the slave owners decided you're not using your own names. We're not having you use your own names. And this is where she gets it very, very wrong. So for me, it's a massive block in the road. If you can't see that, you can't see that there are all these millions of people that don't have their own names. So for them to find out exactly where they come from is quite hard. For you, it's quite simple. You've paid to come to the system. And now you're telling them that everything that they do is fine. It's not. And they put them there to put us down. That's a fact. I would tell it to the face. I don't like the woman. I don't like any of them. I don't like her. I don't like Kwasi Kwarteng. None of them. Not one of them. Don't stand there preaching to me when just because your parents have been able to pay for you to go to the best educational schools and then come out with the same attitude as them. Come out with a different attitude and I might support you. That's it.
Right. They're coming out with a different attitude, which is right. If 90% of all we hear in the public is one view, that can't be right. Our job, right, yeah, even though what we're doing now, what we're discussing now, right, it's not for me to persuade you to persuade me. It's for us to persuade the undecided, right, yeah, that there are more than one way forward. It isn't just one way, yeah? And by saying something like, Kemi, I don't agree with you, right? That's fine. But here's what I think. But what you're saying is that she's not only wrong, she's deliberately wrong, and it's part of a conspiracy and a vile, evil push to keep black people down. That's why she's there, and she's a token of evil propaganda machine of the Conservative Party. That's how you're saying it. Yeah? And that's not how I see it at all. Because well, that's fine. But it's not up to you to change your mind. It's up to people who are not decided to change their mind, right? Yeah. We've had when she made her speech, right? Yeah, a lot of people, including some very well-meaning white people, and that's pretty. Tony's friend isn't on as well, right? Yeah, that English guy that was on before. Yeah, but I have a serious like Neville, right? Yeah, I can see you're angry and annoyed with this woman. Fair enough. But I can take it from you because you're black. But when I see white people piling in, and then I'm one side, I'm saying she's good. Maybe she's running too soon at the moment. Maybe in 5 years' time, next cycle might be better, right? And then white people are standing over there telling me I'm wrong for supporting this woman, right? Yeah, that I can't accept. Yeah. So when people like James O'Brien, LBC, right, is going on that she's completely wrong and all this sort of thing. She denies racism. It's quite obviously. I've spoken to what's that poet guy? What's the black poet guy name? Oh, what's his name now? The black poet.
Benjamin Zephyr.
The young guy.
No, the younger one. The other guy, the other one, not Zephyr, right?
Not Linton Crazy.
No, younger than that. Younger. I've got his name now. But anyway, right, yeah. When James, what?
He has a podcast, doesn't he?
I think he does. Yeah.
He has a podcast.
When James O'Brien.
Yeah.
So James O'Brien would speak to that black guy, and James O'Brien, the whitest guy, he's private school educated, right? Yeah, speaks very nicely and everything. When everyone else lost their job at LBC, he was nowhere near the sacking zone, right? Yeah, everyone else a lot of people got booted. He would fawn over. His name now. He'd fawn over this poet guy, right? Black guy. Right? And he speaks his words and he's written his books. He'd fawn over him. But then when it came to other black people, like Tony Sewell, yeah? Akala. I don't like Akala. I like when I listen to him. I like listening to him, right? Yeah? But I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, yeah? But James O'Brien switched off his analytical brain, yeah? And he was fawning, yeah? And when it came to Tony Sewell, he was calling him names. He was doubting his qualifications. He was joining in on some of the bashing and everything, right? Yeah, right. that I cannot take. Yeah, the white people pile in on a certain person, black person. They select the black people for us. Yeah, I will do that myself. The black community will do that themselves. So when Neville piles in, fair enough. Yeah, but it's up to us then to choose who we're going to follow, who not going to follow, or whatever. Yeah. So we've got people like David Lammy, who has a radio show. He's a sitting MP, and he has a radio show. And the radio show he does and pushes the certain questions he wants to answer from his point of view. Yeah. Kemi Badenoch hasn't got a show. She's just standing there by herself, writing articles whenever possible, making speeches whenever possible. Yeah. But yet people are throwing rocks at her. And that is white people are throwing rocks at her, which is not good. We should be at least be happy and have some humility to say, okay, fair enough. She's running for the Conservative Party, presenting conservative ideas. So if you're a Labour or a socialist or a progressive, so of course you will not like anything she says. That stands to reason. Yeah. So that's it. So it should be the way. Yeah.
Is she saying with regards to the thing of slavery and how we react from there and how we act in society now, is she trying to say that we're acting as victims?
She doesn't say that. No, she's not saying that.
But the way that Neville
says that, but
Neville's saying that, saying that.
Neville's trying to say that she doesn't. She says racism doesn't exist. She doesn't say that. She says racism is not the most important problem in the black community at the moment, right? That's what she says. It's not the most important, maybe number 2, 3, 4, or 5, but not the number 1, right? And when you look across the pond, right, a lot of people say, if you look at the Asians, for example, Asians got this bad name at the moment, being the ideal immigrants. Everyone wants Asian immigrants because they're ideal, hardworking, all this sort of business, right? Yeah. And
on a black front, Nigerians,
exactly. That's
the ideal ones now.
That's what I was coming to next, right? Yeah, right. So my daughter, right, the oldest daughter, she works in Bank of America, and guess who the black people are in Bank of America? Guess who the black people are in America?
Nigerians.
In the Bank of America, all Nigerians. Right? Yeah. Right. They have big parties. So many of them. They can have a big party when they dance, play Burna Boy and all the rest of it. Right. Yeah. That's how many of them there are. Yeah. Right. So when people speak, yeah.
The things that
and there's competitive entrance, right? Yeah, it wasn't just anybody that went there and everywhere. That entrance from UK as well. My daughter got in on the UK side, yeah. So there are people funneling in, right? Yeah. When she actually got to the front line there, right? Yeah, a lot of Nigerians there. So yeah, so that's
but the thing is though, what I think sometimes now, when I look, and I think I've harped on about it for a long time now. I mean, she said that racism isn't a problem. I think what it is, the victim mindset.
No, she didn't say that. Sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying
yeah.
that. Okay, as it's been perceived, then. Okay, I didn't get that from that. But
okay.
What I think the problem is the victim mindset. That we think, you know something, we can't do any better. We've got someone else to blame. Everybody starts off with the same brain. Everybody, when you're born, same brain, same neurons and everything. Everything's there. Environment will dictate how you're going to use that brain, really. If you come from a bad environment where you've got 2 people, maybe drug users, the parents.
Yeah.
Okay, drug users. The 2 ways you can go, they can either adopt the same thing as the attitude of the parents, yeah, or then say, bloody, I don't like this, I'm going to better myself. That could really go to private school or public school, and people do it. People will do it. And the thing is, though, I sometimes don't think that racism is the problem. Like you say, Mark, I think it's number 2. I think it's mindset and whether you want to choose to be a victim or not and then blame somebody else. Because the number of times that people get knocked down and then get back up again, Asians seem to be able to do okay.
One of the things she was talking about is she doesn't see any reason to remove statues of people that have had a racist past from.
Well, I don't think
I don't think they should remove me.
That's something for you to glorify them.
No, I don't know. What they should
Shouldn't
have
glorify
done.
them. We shouldn't remove them.
What they should have done is put the real history there
Well,
as a
this is the-
sign.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
now- okay, so now you've hit on an actual right thing. The problem, she also says she doesn't believe that school children should be taught about Black history and the racist connotations that happened. But the reality is, it's not Black history. It's white history with bits removed that you don't want to teach.
No, but no, that's your point of view.
You only want to teach the parts that you like. You don't want to teach
Right.
the parts that said that you shackle these people for days in a ship and brought them across to waters. They don't want to tell you that. They
Right,
don't
but,
want to tell you. They don't want to tell you that the country was built up on the back of slavery. They don't want to tell you that. They don't want to tell them. I didn't learn at school that the people that owned slaves were all paid when they had to give up their slaves. Did you? Who learned that at school?
No, I knew about that.
I know. Right,
Literally 4 or 5 years
Can I
ago.
say something, Neville? Neville, can I
Yeah.
say something again, right? Yeah, right. In this country, it's supposed to be a multicultural country, right? Yeah, right. Sometimes at church, we have an international week or Sunday, and we find out how many different cultures there are in the church from all over the world. There are 200 countries in the world, right? Yeah, and some of those countries are split into 2 different ethnicities or 3 different ethnicities. Yeah, sometimes some countries like that. So there's more than 200 different ethnicities, yeah? And some weeks we had about 70 or 80 different ethnicities, right, yeah? Right? Now, we have, in America, right, they're trying to have, maybe it's more relevant in America, they have Black Month, they've had Pride Week, they'll have Black History Pride Week, they're trying to do different little things, right, yeah? Right? Are you going to do that for every ethnicity in the country? Where does it stop?
The reality is,
And how much you're going to learn? And then this is the same problem we have with the sexual education in the schools, right? Yeah, right. That there's certain people who don't know where to stop. Yeah, they don't know where to stop. Once you give them to, okay, let's do it. Then they don't know where to stop. Before you know it, all right, the history lesson, right? It will be like Shaka Zulu or something like that, yeah. For the whole term, yeah. And the Polish kid over there, you're learning this. So what's it got to do with me? I'm Polish, yeah. And then the Indian kid, what's it got to do with me? I'm Indian, right? We're going to have a whole Indian part of this thing as well. You know, the Raj, days of the Raj, and early Mughal history of India. Where do we stop?
admittedly, I
Where do we
understand what you're
stop?
saying. I understand what you're saying. What have the British done to the Poles?
What the British done to India? India,
No.
for example.
Forget them.
Why
I'm not
should
talking about Indian. I'm not talking about Indian, man. What
if-
have the British done to the Poles?
not much?
There you go.
They were,
Are you aware?
the Poles
Are you aware
were
that
allies in the Second World War.
Polish
Hmm?
is the second biggest language spoken in the UK after English? Are you aware of that?
A lot of Polish people, probably, yeah.
Right.
But so we're going to have a Polish
So they've had
Polish
nothing to
history
do.
in that school.
The Polish haven't had anything done to them. The Black people, as a people, have had a very bad traumatic period with the British and the Commonwealth. They asked them to come over from the West Indies, and
Yeah.
they even made jobs that they said you're not going to get any higher than that. I didn't realise that's where that's where they took SENs and SRN nurses from. But they made sure that the nurses couldn't get any higher than SENs. When you start looking at it and you go back and you, oh my God, look at it. They have really made sure they've done everything to keep Black people down. Fact.
But Neville.
And then look, and then Neville.
Neville. Hang on a second.
Then look at it.
It sounds like you're running the Victim Olympics.
It's
At some stage,
to do with the Olympics. Listen, I don't know if any of you guys remember this. There was a couple a few years ago. I don't know if they were a mixed couple, a black and white couple, and they wanted to adopt a child. And one of the questions they asked them before they gave them the child was, what racism have you encountered in whatever area you're in? Do you remember? Does anybody remember this?
I can't remember it, but
And they said they hadn't acknowledged any racism at all. And due to that answer, they refused to give them a child.
no, that's wrong.
Because they said it's impossible that you have not had any racism and you're just not recognizing it. So
It depends on.
how are you going
Well,
to
I'll
be able to look after a child and bring that child up to look, make sure that they can look for those type of things?
You see, right? Yeah. You see, Neville, right? Yeah, Neville, right? This is there's a whole genre of these self-improvement people, right? Yeah, who talk about the NLP, which is some sort of I don't know, when you repeat a phrase. What's that? Yeah. So
Neuro something.
yeah, and there's Anthony Robbins and all these guys, right? Yeah, and Stephen Covey, and I mean numerous people like this, right? Yeah, and they'll tell you, right? Yeah, that if you something called anchoring, if you anchor yourself to a bad happening, right? Yeah, right, and that becomes the center of your mindset and drives how you think things are going to go in the future, you're going to have a problem. Yeah, right. So what we have, I'm sorry, and this is how I see it, right? Yeah, you can see it completely different. What we have is a white-led progressive movement who have co-opted a black-led movement. So black people are only a small percentage of a population of UK or USA. Yeah, so it needs white people to drive it. They've co-opted them and hijacked the whole of that movement, and it's benefiting them to keep that spotlight on that original sin. An original sin that could stain even, that could never be cleaned away. So it suits them to keep it there. Yeah. And as black people grow up and learn about it, and some people take it on into their mindset, they're anchored to that thing. They're anchored. They cannot move away from it. It's like a black hole sucking them into it, right? And they can't get away from it. Yeah. Right. But we can learn about black holes. We don't have to go into it. We can learn about it and can understand how it came about, why it's there, what's happening, how the thing might influence us now, how it held us back, but how we're accelerating
and how
away
to
from
avoid it.
We're escaping from it, right? Yeah, right. But we can only do that, right? Yeah, if we're not sucked into it. And I think the white people are sucking us into it, basically.
Well, listen, it's not a case of sucking us into it, but there's a certain level of naivety when we believe that don't worry about it, everything's all right now. They don't think about us in that way. And then
I don't think it's all right.
You hit something and you go, oh, hang on a minute, I thought all this had stopped. And that's the reality.
Right.
I've met
Let me
it.
tell you something.
I'm 62 now. I've met it so many times in my life. Some of the jobs that I didn't get was because my face just didn't fit.
Right.
Also, there's
probably
another reason why I didn't get it. Because my attitude is I don't mind telling people that something's wrong. They don't like it.
Mm.
But I don't see any reason to constantly sometimes sit on the fence. If I see something wrong, I'm going to speak up against it. They don't like it. They don't like it.
But but listen to me very carefully, right? Yeah, listen very carefully, right? Yeah. Often, right? Yeah, you can imagine black people are a minority in this country, right? And when I was younger, what's that?
Yes.
What? Oh yeah, so black people are a minority in this country, a very tiny minority, in fact. So you can imagine when I was younger and I was going through some of the big companies trying to get promoted, right? Yeah, right. What would happen if there's, say, 10 of us with the possibility of getting promoted, right? I might not get promoted, right? Yeah, one white person may get promoted. So there's 9 white people and 1 black person. Yeah, one of the white people gets promoted, right? Yeah, the other 8 and me are disappointed, right? So the other 8 white people are disappointed. So I'm not going to stand there and then go, oh, I didn't get a job because I was black, right? I won't do that. Because I know the other 8 people there, they're also disappointed. Go to next year, promotion. I get the promotion out of 10 white people, 9 white people. I get the promotion, yeah, right? and they go, "Congratulations," right? Yeah. And then one of them goes, "Oh, one of them goes to me, oh, I didn't expect that to happen, right? Because they seem to be against black people here, racist, but you got it. Congratulations, right? Yeah, well done. Yeah, right? Yeah. Now, imagine if I'm the only black person and all the rest of the candidates are white, and for 3 or 4 years I don't get promoted, and I take the company to tribunal and say you didn't promote because of racism. Yeah. Am I correct in that? Knowing that over those 4 years, only 4 people have been promoted, right? And the other white people have not been promoted either. There's people that have been pissed on and passed over as well,
Don't get
who
me
are
wrong.
white.
It's not
So-
as straight
And
as
I've seen people throw a strop as a black person that they didn't get promoted, right? Yeah. And there's other white people who also didn't get promoted either. Yeah.
But it depends. What's their history? What's their experience? How long have they been there? Are they training the other people that have gone up for the job and got it? That type of thing that you have to take into consideration.
Do you know right? Yeah.
The whole
Again,
experience
no.
road. And if that experience road is that they're the most experienced, they've been training these people up, but then you actually give the job to somebody that's coming that they've trained, there's something wrong with your organisation.
Doesn't work that way. Even that happens to white people, right? Yeah, where
Yes.
the white person is trained. Listen, is trained that person, and all of a sudden it's a black person or Asian person, most like Asian person, that gets promoted over them, and they go, right? But maybe some people like I am, right? Yeah, I didn't want to be management now. That's all I wanted to pay a lot of money and not be management, right? If I can do that, fine, right? So I've taken that path, and I'll train people, I'll work with people. They might get promoted, yeah, that's fine by me. If they want to go that way, that's their path, yeah. My path is this way, getting more and more technical. That's my path, right? So a lot of people, some people are good managers and cut out to promote as a manager. Some people aren't, yeah. Even among white people, it happens, right? Yeah. Even that happens on white people, right? Yeah. So I can't always take the side to say I'm a black person, train this person, is promoted above me in some other, he's moved to other departments above me somewhere else, gets a massive pay rise and everything, and I'm stuck here, right? Yeah. I can't say that because I know people it's happened to who are white in the same way.
I agree with you. Listen, I'm agreeing with you 100%. It's not always the case. But I mean, I have instances. There was one job I went for, I think I might have told you this before, and they actually did these tests, verbal and critical reasoning tests.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Did the verbal and critical reasoning test. They took me into an office and they said to me, Neville, we're giving you the results for the verbal and critical reasoning, blah, 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 blah. You got 97%, but we're not giving you the job.
Yeah.
And I'm going, 97%, wow. And I thought, well, who's got 98? Who's got 99? Who's got... They gave it to 3 or 4 other people, and I didn't get it. I'm thinking, and one of the reasons that they used, and this I we've told you before, but I didn't tell you what one of the reasons they were using against me was the woman said to me, one of the reasons that I didn't get the job was because I had a child. Who's going to look after? Because I had a son.
Yeah.
Who's going to look after your son when you're working later?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was one of the reasons that they used. Now, to me, that was I cannot believe it. You're using the old male trick to women on men to have a child.
Yeah.
And
but
then,
see, I can say example. Yeah.
So what I did then is I instigated a tribunal, and in fact it was stopped. They paid me some money, and then they gave me the job. But you don't want to have to be doing that type of thing to get jobs.
No, you don't have to be doing that. Yeah. No, you don't. No. But
when
again,
you got the job, Neville, when you got the job, right? How were you treated when you got the job, Neville?
Yeah.
Because you took
another question.
How were you treated?
Absolutely.
Were you allowed to flourish in the post, or were you spited by them?
In the department that I worked, my team was top most of the time.
Yeah.
My team won top.
We see Neville. Well, I know someone else had the same problem, right? Yeah, and they won their case. Yeah, and they went to they got their job back and they got promoted to be head of diversity, but it didn't work out for them. Yeah, but see, your personality, you and the people who are working for might have been able to see past that and get past that issue. yeah. But sometimes either side cannot get past the issue, yeah. Then there's a problem. Either you can't get past it, or they can't get past it, yeah. And there's a problem. If you both can get past it, then there's gonna be no issue, yeah. That's it. They might say, okay, we were wrong in that case. Okay, sorry, yeah. We get past it now. We're gonna work together, yeah.
Listen. Don't get
That's
me
it.
wrong.
It depends. It depends on the people. But I know someone who they couldn't get past it, and it was always a problem. Even when the company gave them the job back, it was always a problem. They couldn't get past it, and that caused an serious issue. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah. So
the thing you find in
In respect to Everton's point, Neville, or to the rest of you, is it ever good grounds to get a job as a result of having to take action against your employee? Is it ever good grounds?
No.
And would it be a bad thing or a wise thing if you did get the job after you protested and took legal action against them, to refuse the job based on your own personal principles and pride? Would it be a bad thing, or would you see that as a regressive step?
I don't know.
I
never had that issue, so I wouldn't know.
It'd be kind of a waste of time. Well, why did you do it? Why would you do it if you're not going to take it?
Given the fact, the fact that you were turned because of what you suspect was racist overtones, as a human being, if you turned it down, would that be, in your eyes, would that be seen as a regressive step, or
might be a
would you
power
feel
move
just
to take it?
turning it down because of personal pride? Because, to quote you,
I think
one should not have to go as far as taking legal action against a company in which you were fully qualified for that job, but they turned you down for a ridiculous reason.
Yeah, but it might be right. Yeah, they might have a respect for you, right? There might be one part of it. They have a immediate injection of respect, or taking the job might be seen as a power move on your part. Yeah, it'll be a power move to say, okay, I'm gonna take this job anyway. I'm coming to work on Monday, and that's it. Yeah, make serious power move. And it would depend how public the thing was. If everyone in the company knew that taking them to court to get this job and everything, right? Yeah, tribunal. Then I don't know. If it was confidential, no, I mean, it might not matter. Might just go and just take it.
I mean, you have a point there. I mean, you have a point there. But I think the point I was trying to make rather badly, sorry about that, was, is it ever good grounds to be able to accept a job as a result of you having to take that company, whether privately or publicly, to task to get a job that you were fully qualified for, and knowing that they turned you down because of the colour of your skin?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you've either gone for the reason why you've gone for that better job is either for kudos, or for financials. If it's financials, take the job. Take the job and keep looking. If you can let pride get to you and let people defeat you, it's going to be embarrassing for you, really, isn't it? If you walk away after going through all that pain, it can be embarrassing. I would have stuck with it, and I would flick the V's in my head, not physically. Flick the V's in my head and say, you know something, I won. I'm here now. You've now got to suffer me, and I know you don't like it.
Yeah, plus, Tony, it might be healthy as well, right? Yeah, because from day one, right, on the communication side, you're up here, yeah. And if they're doing anything, you're straight in there going, no, I'm not having this, blah, 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 yeah. You're up already. You're already headbutting them already, right? Yeah. You might as well continue.
But the thing
is, might as well. Every Friday, have a meeting with them every Friday.
So what you're saying then, Everton, it is good grounds then to accept the job on those?
It might be, because then immediately you've got a in, and you've got a very candid communication path open. You've taken them to tribunal, you've won. Right? They've said things in the tribunal. You've said things. Backwards and forwards, yeah. And then the tribunal decided, yeah. And then when you start, if you can keep that candidness open, the honesty open, it might be a good.
But you think about it as well. For them, it's a learning experience. Go on to that again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you get the job, you can make the changes that you initially wanted to do anyway. So as a positive. Yeah. I mean, you've answered my question. Thank you.
think
So
the
that's
other
all of it.
person I heard about, they were given the job, the normal job plus diversity manager as well. Diversity and inclusivity manager. They had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
Then
goes
it came back. Yeah.
This goes back to what the heading I put in the title, where we talked about the victim mindset. If we go through life with work, socially, even mentally, and think, oh, I can't do this, people have put me down or whatever. I've told my kids that if there are obstacles in the way, go around it, over it, or through it. If you're going through it, you're doing it quite hard, aren't you? Okay. You can't play the victim card forever. You can't live on historical information. If anything, history should make you stronger, not weaker. And like Everton said, if you anchor yourself in one point as, oh, white people are doing this, or Asians are taking over this, or whatever, you've heard me all the time. I say, oh, it's a bit sad that Asian guys have got the weave shops and they've got the restaurants. But I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking them at all.
Yeah.
What I do say is, you know something, why aren't black people doing that?
There you go.
You know, I'm not gonna have a victim mindset. I refuse to do it. You know, I refuse.
In a nutshell, Tony. In a nutshell, there's a word for the scenarios that you've just described. It's called resilience.
What's that? Yeah, resilience.
You know what I mean?
Resilience.
You get knocked back. You get up, and you start again. I mean, there's a saying that struggle is not a weakness. Struggle is a sign of strength.
Yeah.
I would even say struggle is the child of strength, because, you know, that's what comes out of it in one respect. But you see, some human beings aren't resilient. So it's a human issue too, isn't it, at the same time? But when you couple it together with the political issue of colour, especially when you're living in a country which is predominantly white, which refuses which refuses, and they are very clever at this, they refuse to acknowledge their part in an ugly history against people of colour.
No,
and you have to be double resilient. And on Neville's earlier part, when he asked, you know, what are the
when you're black conservative, you have fighting on 2 fronts.
If you just allow me to finish the point, Neville mentioned an issue about what are the Poles, what are the English to the Poles? Well, vis-a-vis our stake in their history. Look, we have skin in the game here, because we're more ensconced in British history than the Poles are. We go back a long, long time, and whereas the Poles may have been allies, and even if the majority of language, the second largest language is Polish spoken in this country, our history is firmly ensconced in British history, based on the fact that let me finish, right? Remember, we weren't invited here 400 years ago. We were taken here. That's number one. And to write insult to injury, and this is to support Neville's points, because Everton, and Tony, you put your points across quite eloquently. But in support of Neville's point, right? I get what the dude is saying. You know, 400 years ago, 500 years ago, we were placed here. And then to add insult to injury, right? You know, 70 years ago or 60 years ago, we were invited back to build the country, even having fought alongside the soldiers in the First and Second World War to free the so-called world from the fascist dictatorship, both of the Kaiser and Hitler. And then on top of that, to rub salt in the wounds, when most of these people had reached, had achieved retirement age, you're going to send them back because their documents weren't legal. So you can understand why Neville's anger, or what you class as anger, would come across as hyper annoyance, because we have to realize that, gentlemen, we're up against very subtle levels of which I choose to call evil, right? And when you're trying to broach this topic with them, even where you want to discuss the issue of critical racism, which caused them to have to look at themselves, right? And to look at their own little human habits that they use as microaggressions against us to keep certain sections of the black populace down. They don't want to have any parlance with it. So what I'm trying to say, gentlemen, is this force is out there, and they are the gatekeepers, and they'll only let certain people in, but they'll keep a lot of people out. This Kemi Badenhock, you know, Kemi may have she's a very eloquent and articulate young lady. She has experience in working in the government departments, but she was only ever put there really as dressing, because sooner or later, you know that her position is going to be cancelled out, where it's going to come down to two main people in running for the actual premiership. And Kemi was put in there to stop Rishi Sunak, because Rishi Sunak has classed as a Judas, him and Sajid Javid, right? So there's a right-wing caucus there, which will try their best to stop Rishi Sunak. So by putting another black face inside there and getting supporters behind, I'm not saying they're not true to supporting Kemi's cause, but to a certain degree, and with the greatest respect, gentlemen, it is a bit of window dressing there. It is. But it's great to see that the Conservative Party have beat the Labour Party hands down and been more inclusive.
No.
And I'm a Labourite.
Right, yeah. See, Owen, what you've just done there in that long speech, right, yeah? Yours
all
the bases.
Respect, yours the long speech too,
no, mine is just as long. No, but yours is longer and more eloquent than mine. So there you go. Right. But
don't give me that. I can't play it, Everton. Sorry, I can't give you that.
And it went around all the bases, and all the bases in the correct order as well, right? Yeah. She's described it as window dressing, right? Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Tokenism. What else? What else did you cross over? Evil. Because you believe conservatism is evil, right?
No,
do you believe that a black person can be conservative?
Everton, no. I don't believe that conservatism is evil. I wasn't saying that. If I came across that way, it was never meant. I said there are forces out there, right, that seek to keep certain people out. We have a history of this happening all the time. And to go back to the point you made about being resilient, that's the way to fight against it. Tony made a very, very good point about that. But nonetheless, sometimes you get really tired. You get people like you who are eloquent, articulate, right? They go for jobs and you turn down. And they give you some half-soaked, half-baked reason, right? Whether it's in private or public. And because you're a gentleman, we have to play, and I use this term very, very lightly, the noble savage. We have to show nobility. We know what you're talking about, mate, but we know that you've got the power at this moment in time. You've got to accept it. You've got to take it on the chin. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's tiring. It really is.
Is that a second bite of the cherry? Going around the bases again, touching the correct bases. The noble savage, right, yeah? Gosh, right, yeah? Now, if Boris Johnson had written that down, he probably has written that down, the noble savage, that'd be the example evidence of his racism, right, yeah? Right?
You call us picking
you lucky didn't give me some watermelon smiles or something, right? I was smiling away my watermelon smile. Then he went, yeah, there it is, right? No. Badenoch is not window dressing, just like Priti Patel also are not window dressing, right? Yeah. You have two choices in this game, right? Yeah. Either you believe your born identity, like your color, your gender, your gender, or whether your color or your gender are important attributes. In fact, your number one attribute and qualification to get a job, or you believe it's not. I believe it's not. If you believe it is your prime qualification, then join the Labour Party. Yeah, right. And then one day you're intersectional. As number one. Yeah.
What are you saying wrong with the Labour Party?
Nothing. I'm just saying, if you believe that your identity is your number one qualification, join the Labour Party. If you don't think it's number one qualification, there might be a gamble to join the Conservative Party. Yeah.
Especially if you're, can I respond to that? Can I respond to that when you finish? Can I just respond to that?
Go on.
I'm not putting Kemi down. Kemi is a very able person, a very articulate, able person. She's got experience. I outlined that in my response, you know.
Yeah, no.
But
Yeah.
But I go one further. This is not to say she can't do the job. She can do the job. I think putting the racist side, the racial discrimination or the question of race aside, what is going to knock Kemi out of the water too is the fact that she doesn't believe that there's such thing as climate change, man, and that is going to irk a lot of people too. And she's public about that. And a lot of people think that will probably think on that score. She's with the birds. But what I'm saying is, there are greater powers.
I think you're wrong about that.
There are greater powers. There are greater powers at large too that will allow good people like him to put their foot forward, right? But if I'm wrong, then I stand corrected and I'm glad we're on it. But it does look to me at this moment in time like window dressing. Not to decry Kemi. It's not to decry Kemi, but it looks like window dressing. And it's attributed to greater powers that want to make this race look inclusive. And that's what it is. For me.
I'm going to ask you a question, Everton.
No, I don't understand that. The evidence, right, going back to the Conservative had only 2 female prime ministers, right, yeah? Then they had an Asian Home Secretary.
It's nothing to do with it. Did you know what?
Right?
Margaret Thatcher treated the women. Margaret Thatcher treated the Tory women like dirt.
And here we go again now, right? Right. Here we go again, right? Yeah.
She wouldn't have
what I'm talking about. So a Conservative woman is not a woman. It's not for women. It's not a woman, right? A black Conservative is no longer black, right? A black female Conservative is neither of those things, neither black or female anymore, right? Everton, and that's how it's reflected, right?
Everton,
Margaret Thatcher did what she did for the whole country. She didn't come a female prime minister for female. She came prime minister for the whole country. Everton, and she didn't give favour to
let him finish, please.
Of the population. Yeah. Same if Kemi just by 100 to 1 shot became prime minister, she would not be acting just for black people, right? Yeah, right. And that's it.
And that's
when Obama became president. When Obama became president, right? He had 2 terms. How much work did he do on reparations? How much? How much work did he do on it?
None.
Right? He had 2 terms. Yeah.
He did. He did quite a bit. He did quite a bit.
He didn't do anything. Biden is having
his hands were tied. His hands were tied anyway. I mean, the moment he got off, the moment he came into office, that made things difficult for the guy anyway, you know. So there you go.
Let me tell you why he did quite a bit.
He could have signed over executive order to do something which would last for 4 years at least, right? Yeah, he did nothing.
Let me tell you what he did, and he's still there. He sorted out their healthcare.
That's for everybody.
But that was all about
no, you had to have insurance before.
But that's for everybody.
And that's
black people support the insurance.
If you remember, before Obamacare, there was Hillary Care.
Yeah, there was Hillary Care.
What Obamacare did, and I'm glad he did that, it built on the foundation laid by Hillary Clinton. They just didn't want to know Hillary Clinton because of her politics and the fact that she was part of the Clinton empire. But
he's allowed lots of people
Hillary Care not being created
one at a time, guys.
It would have made it extremely harder for Obamacare to take off the ground, you know.
So
I mean, you look at who's that idiot in power now in America?
Biden.
It's a terrible thing to call the number one.
I can't remember his name anymore. Joe Biden.
I don't think he's an idiot.
You can't remember his own name.
But look what he's done for LBGQ. Look what he's done.
So what's wrong with that?
Asian hate crime. Immediately, executive order, Asian hate crime. Immediately, almost like the first week or something, right? Yeah.
That's right. 2 weeks.
Like black people.
That's right. Didn't know for black
2 weeks.
People.
Okay, 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, didn't know for black people.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you one thing.
And if you didn't vote for him, you weren't black.
Let me tell you one thing.
That was white kids, but he got burnt for that.
I don't like to hear the LGBTQC, KRPR, SK. Have I missed any letter of the alphabet out? I don't like to hear people say, you wouldn't treat me like this if I was black. Sorry, what's the difference between being black and LGBTQ?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's
I don't-
pathetic. They're trying to say it's like it's a race. It's not a race. It's a group of people.
I have to
from
I
other
have to say,
races.
I do not like. I have to say this, and I'm going to be slated for this, but I stand force ground what I'm saying. Although I recognise LGBTQAD, whatever it is, for them to have their rights, I've got nothing against that. But I do not like when they equate their cause with the cause of colour.
Yeah, nor do I.
Because
I don't like
it's two
either.
different things. It's two different things, and I'm not even going to go down the route of possibly being a choice. It's two different things. You can spot us from a mile away. You can't spot them. We, right, don't have
Yeah.
a special Pride Day for you to accept it, right? You know, we're
No, we
held
have a
back
history,
because
Black
of how
History Month.
in certain respects, because of where we look, right? But you know, someone has to out someone from the LGBT community for them to be vilified. Someone has to out them, or they have to own up to as to who they are. A bit like what Kelly Holmes has done, which is quite a brave thing.
Yeah.
But you can't own up to being black. You are black, and the power and the power machinery is largely run by people who are not black and who have a lot of money. And if they wish to hold you back, they can see you straight away. But you could walk into a room with a white guy tomorrow, right? And you wouldn't, and if he was gay, no one would know he was gay unless he says, I'm gay.
Can I ask you a quick question? I mean, why do you think that
Sorry,
Kelly Holmes? Why do you think that Kelly Holmes thought you thought he was brave for Kelly Holmes to come out as gay? Why do you think it was brave?
Yeah, why do you think now? At this year, in
No,
2022.
Yeah, the reason why I say it was brave for her because of the anguish it was causing her, and what she thought
should have
she
come out
could lose
before.
right now. Yeah, but I understand that, guys. But as a human being, I have to look at the woman as a human being, right? She saw specific limitations and she had palpable fears, which helped. That's the reason why she kept it to herself. You understand? And I think it was very brave of her to put it out there, right, on the national international airwaves, to say what she always felt. She felt that she couldn't specifically own up or confess that she is who she is, which made her feel whole before, up until that point where she couldn't stand it no more. She was into self-harming, right? A lot of things. She had mental health problems because of that. So on those grounds, it was incredibly brave for her to do that, because she thought if she did, she'd have a lot to lose. At the end of the day, before we're a colour, we're human beings. That's the truth.
So do you think that it's valid then for her to have all those column inches and time on the news just because of that, because of what she's going through? Do you think she should have been awarded all of
that? That's the zeitgeist.
I think she was awarded that
part of this push for LGBT.
Hey, one at a time, guys.
I think she was awarded that because of the person that she is and her achievements, right? If he was ordinary Joe Blogs or Joanna Blogs, they wouldn't have even got an inch. But I have to go back to the point I tried to make, right, Tony, that Kelly Holmes' fear was palpable because of her human qualities, right?
She was genuinely
scared.
Yeah.
I cannot tell her. Absolutely, Everton. I cannot tell her how scared she must have felt before she disclosed that stuff. I can't tell her that because I'm not her. But I have to respect where she came from.
Okay,
and
well,
that's
I'll turn this on his head now. Then, so what we're looking at then is someone who is gay, but kept it to themselves. They decided to announce to the world. Yeah. Because they've kept it to themselves because they feel that was going to happen in society, how people are going to perceive
in the army, in the military,
in the military, and everything else. So what as black people do we think about us being black from the day we were born, and everyone dismisses it anyway?
A simple answer to that, Tony, is you can't own up that you're black in public. Everybody knows you're black.
Yeah, that's what the knowledge that
we don't have the choice to say, excuse me, look, people, I have to disclose this. I'm black.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Tony, sorry. You can't own up that you're black. You are black, you ain't.
Been hiding in plain sight. Been hiding in plain sight.
The thing is, though, we're not afforded the column inches. We said we're
Yeah.
now on the victim mindset again because we're black.
No,
Oh,
you did call me. If you're black and you come out and say you're running for conservative leadership, they'll dig through your bins. Right? Yeah. Don't worry about that.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Now,
They'll dig through your bins.
going back to Kemi now.
They'll look for shit.
Everton, I'm going to ask you a question now about Kemi.
She might
Actually,
be a relative, you know. You know,
Actually-
just like what's his name? Didn't want to discuss Tim Westwood. Yeah. She might be my relative, in-law.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Is she a relative?
Nah, she's not. But there you go.
You know what? If she was, I'd
Never.
say, get yourself
Never.
divorced.
Never.
Because
Nev,
my
Nev,
wife's Nigerian,
Nev,
right? So
mate.
it could easily be.
Mate.
Hmm?
mate, Nev,
Hey,
mate. What was
Everton,
that about, mate?
Everton needs to stop dating me.
Oh, God. Well, hang on. Go back to my original question. Has she?
Sorry, sorry.
Has she? I'm gonna go around, do a round robin. Owen,
Yes, man.
has she got a chance?
Kemi,
Yes.
I don't think she has.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't think she
Oh.
has.
The reasons are.
Mm.
The reason being, I don't think her politics is supported by the most powerful wing of the Tory party. That's one, right?
Mm.
And number two, what they'll bring up against her is the fact that she's inexperienced. She hasn't held a government office yet, but she's worked in government. You understand? And,
Yeah.
and
Owen, you're frozen. Whilst we wait for Owen to get back his satellite communications from Nairobi,
Yeah.
we'll move on to Everton. So, what do you
From
think?
Lagos.
Everton?
I don't,
Oh, he's back.
I don't
He's
think
back.
I'll be able to defend
Oh,
myself.
hang on.
Yeah.
Everton made a very important point about 20 minutes ago. He says it's probably too soon for Kemi, probably the next 2 to 5 years, yeah. And
Yeah.
on that point, I concur with Everton on that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your view then, Everton.
No, I think it's one thing that Owen said was that she's too anti-woke, too aggressively anti-woke, and the Conservatives can't afford that at the moment. Yeah, they want someone who's slightly right. Then she might have a chance, but she's too young as well. I know someone's the same age as some of the other people, but she looks a lot younger than the rest, and she's not been a cabinet minister, so that is a problem for her at the moment. Yeah, hopefully she won't alienate the eventual winner.
Hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear.
I can hear you.
I couldn't get
late.
it before. I couldn't get it
You're a
before.
bit late, mate. You're a bit late, but carry on.
I know. I was saying.
Okay, so I was saying that
she isn't
Go on,
too
Everton.
young.
Go on, Everton. Everton, carry on.
I'm
Everton.
saying, but she's the same age as some of the other people. But if she doesn't alienate any of the person that wins, and she gets a cabinet post, then I think she's either
Yeah.
next
Give it a chance.
cycle or the other
I think
cycle.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When she's
definitely.
50 or something, yeah. she'll
Then
be-
Janet.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
the same
no.
as me. You haven't got it clear like me, so but you carry on.
Yeah, but pretty much, yeah. I think. I mean, I did glance at it earlier, and it looks like Penny Mordaunt and Rishi.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
in pole position at the minute. So,
but she's still in.
yeah.
Watch
Yeah.
out for Liz Truss. That's all I know.
Oh, but she knocked out. I thought they got knocked out, didn't she?
No. Watch out for Liz Truss. You know, she
Yeah.
strikes me as a dark horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. See what
And
happens.
Neville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me take my drugs first.
Yeah.
Go on, Neville. I'm relaxed.
Ollie Kemi, Olafunto Badenoch has no chance. The fact that she has to Englishise a name, an
Anglicised.
African name, Anglicise her name, to
Mm.
get it across to make her sound more choosable is part of it. I'm sorry, but no. Listen, no black person, no Asian is going to be voted in. And the reason I say this is because in the past, even when Labour were high up in the rankings, and you had people like Neil Kinnock, who was most people thought, nice guy, very pleasant guy.
Yeah.
You had John Smith, very pleasant guy.
Yeah.
None of those were
But he's
voted
Welsh.
because
Yeah.
they are Welsh and not English.
Yeah.
And I don't think people
That's
have
right.
understood this yet. The voting public will not have anybody who's not English to run
Got
their
2
country.
years to go.
Actually,
We've got 2 years
Well, they
to
had
go.
Lloyd George. They had Lloyd George all those years ago. You
let
know,
me,
and
let,
he's
me, let me explain this to you now. Let's say Rishi got in, and I say Rishi because I think he's probably the one who's going to be closest to getting in. He may get in as the
Yeah.
leader of the Tory party, but at the next election, trust me,
Yeah.
closed. They're not voting these people in. And I think people need to.
They're going to vote Keir Starmer in, trust me.
Neville, can I say something? Can I
Yeah,
say
go on.
something?
Where's your light? Where's your light?
Neville,
Yeah,
Neville, you're talking about they won't vote anybody in English, but the real crux of the matter is whoever gets in, it depends on their support of Israel, how they view Israel. That's what's going to make them get in. Keir Starmer is actually the head of the Labour Party because he is pro-Israel. Jeremy Corbyn wasn't. That's why Jeremy Corbyn was kicked out. It depends on their views on Israel. That's who's going to get in.
No.
Yes, it will.
I don't think so.
There's no
Corbyn
such
wasn't
thing as
booted out because of
voting.
being anti-Israel. He was booted because
Yes,
of anti-Semitism.
yeah, but that was also anti-Israel.
That one come from left field. No way for me.
I guarantee you, it will depend on what their views are. And you're talking about the African lady there. She's probably going to get it because she's probably pro-Israel. And you'll find that Liz Truss is pro-Israel.
Priti Patel is pro-Israel, but she's gone.
Oh yes, Priti Patel. Yes, she's gone. But the thing is, though, they want who they
I don't
want.
think she's gotten to the ballot for the first bit.
Yeah,
It all
damage
depends-
goods.
There's no
I'm
such
gonna
thing as
edit
voting.
now, I'm
It all
so
depends a lot
sorry.
on the 19. It all depends a lot on the 1922
Yeah.
committee as well.
Yeah.
They have their say. So it's only a matter of who's going to be chosen from those, not a matter of voting them in.
I mean, the real question that we need to be asking is, why the hell does the country need to go through this on the 5th occasion of the Tory party picking a leader for their party? It's got nothing to do with us. We can't vote to make a change. Why should we have to go through it? Do that behind your closed doors and then come back to us with your result. Because basically,
Nah.
we don't give a
No, it's
crap.
not when Labour. Nah, it's like when Labour do it. The Labour do it out in public. They have their debate in public. Why
Yes,
shouldn't the Tories do it in public?
They're talking about a television debate now.
Well,
Why should-
they had a television debate. But remember when Owen Smith said he was a normal person? That was a TV debate. He said, "I'm a normal family man," and he got smoked for saying, "I'm a normal family man." That was on a TV debate against who the other person was, right? Yeah.
220,000 people are going to choose who's going to be the leader of the country of 46 or 47 million people. It's out of order. Why the
Not
hell?
20,000.
220,000.
It's a 220,000. Yeah, 220,000. Yeah.
We
They're
don't
party
have any
members,
say in it. All we have to do is we have to watch the pantomime roll out, and they're definitely
Well,
in front
no.
behind us. They're in front of
Well,
us.
Labour had the same. Labour had the same thing when they had to switch over from to Corbyn and then
to
switch
Starmer.
over to Keir Starmer. They had the same thing.
They didn't have to. They didn't have to go through. They didn't have to put it on television. They didn't have to do any of that.
No, they do. They use it.
It's all about
Like we have a primary in America. It's like a primary. This is like an equivalent of a primary, and they're going to have it on televised some of it. Yeah. I don't see what's wrong with that. You see some of the candidates. The first time you've seen this a lot of people. So it's good to see.
Well, that debate on
When Labour's doing it,
that debate
it's
on the
fine.
weekend could be quite interesting. I mean, I'd
What's
be very interested to watch that actually.
Yeah,
Especially-
exactly.
I mean, how Kemi would I think she has the ability to match them toe for toe, but sadly she won't get in. Well,
Yeah.
not sadly, but
Yeah,
she won't
no,
get
yeah.
in.
It's a bad taste in my mouth. Can't
But the
say
thing is, right, yeah. But the point is, this is an opportunity to put your face. She was a minor minister, junior. So it's
Yeah.
an ideal time to put your face forward and to put and the people listen to her. When you asked her, do you know what a woman is? She had no hesitation in answering. A lot of people thought that was fantastic. Yeah, right. A lot of people thought, oh my God, that's fantastic. Yeah. A lot of people are dodging that question. Like the ex-Lib Dem leader dodging, is gay sexuality a sin? She didn't
Can I-
dodge the answer. She didn't dodge.
Let me
A lot
ask
of people
another
say that's
question.
good.
Let me ask another question. If you see if you're not are aware of this. Where Tony? Where were you born?
Newcastle Hospital.
Are we? Where were
Where?
you born?
Sorry,
Where were you born?
When?
you mean
Where?
I was born in this country. Wolverhampton.
I was born in Dudley Road Hospital. Go on.
What? Are you
Bar-
aware that
Barbados.
none of us, according to the government, are
Sorry?
considered
Barbados.
None of us what?
are
I was
considered?
born in
Okay.
Barbados.
Are you aware of that?
None of us what?
Say it again.
None
I
of
missed it.
us are considered British.
I'm British. I'm not English.
No, they don't. They consider you as that on the government website. Everything said white,
Yeah.
British, no others, no other colour,
Mm.
nothing. So
Mm.
we're not considered by the government. This is the government website. If you're not white, you're not considered British.
I think on my passport says British.
Oh yeah, that's an error. Pretty sure that
Reality.
And kidnapped. If I got kidnapped, I'll be going to the British consul or something. Yeah.
if you get kidnapped, they're going to send you back to Rwanda. It's diabolical, isn't it? It really, honestly, it is diabolical. When you look at it and you look at because I looked at this thing and it was, I can't remember what it was talking about. Oh, it was talking about the classes, the class system. And it was saying the low parties, Asian, Pakistani, blah, 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 blacks and other small percentages. And then it went down and it had all the ethnicities listed. And it might not have been British, it might have been white English. But there was no, you could only be English if you were white. You couldn't be black
Yeah,
and
it's probably
English.
true. English white.
Neville.
English white. Yeah,
Neville.
I'm not English.
Neville.
That's what Tony
Neville.
said. I won't say I'm English. I say I'm British. I'm a part of a wider thing. Yeah. Even my parents
Neville.
would have said they were British when they came here. But there you go.
Neville. On the point, on the little throwaway line that you mentioned about Rwanda, right? What's so bad about Rwanda?
Human, what do you call it?
You mean the
Everything.
genocide?
Huh?
The genocide.
What?
Well, the
genocide.
human.
Yeah, Tutsis and whatever.
Yeah, but can I ask a question then? I mean, doesn't Rwanda deserve a second chance? Hell, look what Germany did to the Jews. They got a second chance.
Yeah.
Doesn't Rwanda deserve a second chance?
Rwanda's all right. Rwanda, they're trying to rebuild and offering the same immigration service to other countries. So it's
But,
not only Britain are looking at it.
I'm just asking the question.
Whether it works or not, I don't know.
Rwanda deserve a second chance to be considered a
Yeah,
safe
they do.
place to live? Because if they had a dark past, yes, in the 90s, but Germany had a dark past in the 30s and 40s. So
Yeah, exactly.
don't the Rwandans deserve a second chance to be seen as a place worthwhile and of people capable of changing society? No?
It is a place. It is a place worthwhile. It's just how they're reported in the news. You go to Rwanda and you actually look at Rwanda. Rwanda is one of the most developed countries in Africa. One of the most developed. You look at their infrastructure, everything that's been done. The actual prime minister, he's actually pulled Rwanda out of where it was before. And if you look at some of the interviews that's been held by the BBC with him, he's had to shoot them down because they're trying to depict, as they do with all African nations, that they're unworthy,
Shithole.
that they have things with human rights going on. Whereas Britain, America, all those have things with human rights going on, but they all try to
Everybody has.
vilify the
Yeah.
African nations. You have a good look at
Britain and America, they abuse their human rights abroad in some far off country where you don't hear about it, like what the SAS.
We suffer the
UK.
Afghanistan. But the point is, I asked Neville the question, Nev, what's wrong with Rwanda then?
The human rights record apparently since 1994. But the murder, the greatest violation of the Rwandan genocide of Tutsi in 1994.
Neville.
Yeah,
if you look,
1994.
Neville, if you look behind how it actually started, it's always some foreign influence They don't produce the guns, they don't produce the weapons, but they're supplied with the
Yeah.
weapons.
They're supplied with the weapons, admittedly,
And
but
that's how,
nonetheless,
that's
No,
how
when
that
you buy the
started.
weapons, if you're gonna have a revolution, you
Yeah,
have to buy
don't
weapons
forget-
at some point secretly.
Listen,
My reason for
those-
asking that question
those
is,
weapons-
my reason for asking that
Hold on.
question is, on the macro point that Tony made about this whole debate about prejudice, aren't we then exercising prejudice against our own kind
of course we are.
by
Because
making
we're
light
looking-
of their ability to A, change, and B, redevelop into a country which is worthwhile and worth living in, that can actually become an ark for refugees that have been abused by human traffickers. So
I
aren't
think
we
Yeah.
dismiss them to a certain degree and make a work of them? Aren't we being prejudiced against our own kind?
Yes, we are, because we look at our own people through European eyes, because that's how we're fed through the media, and we look at
Yeah,
our people
exactly,
through
yeah.
European eyes.
okay,
Yeah.
let me give you, let me
Well-
throw some crumbs amongst the pigeons. If your family lives, for example, in Harrow, okay, and like the poor girl that's house was blown up in Birmingham the other day, by the next door to the house that blew up.
Yeah.
They then decide, because you work locally and everything, and you and your daughter have got school and everything over there. They decide they're going to, we've got a house for you, but the house that we've given you it's 180 miles away.
Mm.
How do you feel? Now think about it. So some of those people are coming here because they've got family that their claims over here. So then
Right.
Britain government puts them on a plane and sends them thousands of miles away somewhere else. How would you feel if it was, for example, you 180 miles away from your
Neville.
Someone asked that same question today, right? Yeah. Of course, I'd be furious. Yeah. Right. But but imagine, right? Yeah, something happened. I committed a crime, and they arrested me. Even if I didn't do the crime, and they put me on trial, found me guilty, I'd have no say. I could be furious as I like, as they throw me into prison for the next 5 years, right? Yeah, right. I'd have no say in the
Everton.
matter. Nothing I can do about it, right? Yeah. I'd be
Everton,
like a
Neville.
leaf in the wind. Yeah. So to
Everton,
use that as a thing, how would I feel, is not the correct question. Sorry.
but they haven't
It doesn't matter
committed,
about how I feel.
they
If I've
haven't,
broken the
they
law,
haven't committed a crime, have
if I've
they?
broken the law and their procedure is to do that, then unless my only defense is human rights, they have violated my human rights for some reason, for some cause, yeah, and I win my case. That's the only way, yeah.
Their
If I was
only
going to
crime,
prison, I have to
their only
appeal
crime-
against that prison sentence. What's that?
their only crime, like Mo Farah, is that they've been trafficked here and then being used in a house as somebody's slave.
Neville,
Mm.
can I
No,
just
no, but these guys are not that. A lot of people are not that. They're the people who paid to come across on the dinghies. They've been caught. They got here. They've been caught, and they've claimed asylum. Yeah, and what the government said, okay, while you process your papers, we're going to send it to Rwanda. Right? If we agree with you that you are an asylum seeker because you're persecuted or you're from a war zone or whatever, and then you can come back.
can I?
But
can I say
Everton,
something?
what I don't understand is, right, just let me chuck this other little spoke in the works. What I don't understand is, how come someone either from Somalia or someone from Syria or Iran or whatever can qualify to be sent to Rwanda, but yet, do you think you'd see any Ukrainians being sent to Rwanda? And they're
No,
fleeing
problem is,
pogrom from
Right.
Russia.
No, the problem with
They're-
Ukrainians. The
They're,
problem with
they're
wait a minute.
They're fleeing persecution. Do you
Right.
think you'd
now,
see any of them being
problem-
sent to Rwanda?
Right. Now here's the thing right here.
You
Most of
can't
the
say
Ukrainians, right? Yeah. Right.
Can't say safe
But can I say
passage.
one thing, right? Right. No, I'm going to say. First of all, Ukrainians have a 90-day automatic visa, automatically, even before the war started. 90 days automatic visa to even UK, automatically,
Preach it,
pre-war.
preach it,
What?
preach it. I'm
Yeah.
saying,
So-
amen, preach it.
Then
Can I?
no,
can I
then
say
most
something?
of these most of the refugees
say
from Ukraine have gone to Poland and to neighboring countries, and some have gone.
Yeah.
I think a fifth have gone to Russia. Right? Yeah. If they're leaving
Some.
that war zone. Yeah. Only a few are
Yeah.
coming this way. Relatively few percent are coming this way. Right? Yeah. Or coming to Spain or something. Only a few percent. Yeah. Right. So, and those which are coming this way are supposed to have family ties here. They got friends here. And when they fill out the paperwork, and they can be here for 3 months, remember? They got 3 month visa. They fill out the paperwork, do whatever they need to do, and they get the safe right to remain here, whatever it is, yeah? Temporarily.
Can I-
For, I think they get 1
Don't
year
the
first.
refugees
They get 1 year
come by
first.
either
and
legal or
they've
illegally
extended.
have
What's
family
that?
over here too? Don't the other
Can I say-
refugees that come here by either
No, what
either
they've
by
done-
legal or illegal means
Oh,
have
no,
family
no.
over here too?
What they've done, and that's where the human rights go. What they've done, they've come in illegally and been caught, and then on being caught, they're claiming asylum. Yeah, right. They didn't apply to come and save family, and the family wrote them a letter of reference or anything like that. Yeah, right. So they've been coming over illegally across the border, and then they've been caught.
So,
There's a
so
big
you're saying
difference,
that's
I'm
a
sorry.
difference, yeah? So,
Yeah,
so
there's
you're
difference,
saying
yeah.
that's a difference? Okay.
Can I
That
say
is
something?
different.
But they're still,
Ukraine is a
but
immediate
they're still
Good
running
night,
away
90-day
from
visa.
Good night.
What's that?
I'll see you later.
but they're still running away from a similar situation,
Okay.
aren't they?
Oh yeah, I'm sure
But
they
they're
are.
still-
Yeah.
But they're still running away from a similar situation, an untenable situation
Remember-
where their lives are threatened.
Okay, remember, right? Yeah, if you're coming from Syria or Iraq, Afghanistan, some other place like this, right? You've had to cross the whole of the EU virtually to get to UK, right? And the UK is no longer signed up to the Dublin Protocol. Remember, yeah, right? So
Mhm.
on several fronts, could have taken a dinghy from France to here. They were in France, yeah. There's nothing wrong with France in the end, yeah. So, to be honest, the government could have, someone in government, if Labour was in power, maybe they might have said, okay, if you're in France, you got family here, and we get a reference, and you make an application, and you prove that your family is here in UK, then you're allowed to have a initial 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is. Then you can stay for the 5 years and get your residency or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
They could do that, I suppose. Labour could do that. If Labour were in, they could do that, right? Yeah. They didn't change the rules to do that before, yeah. But they could do that. But there's a difference between the Ukrainians, and even it's getting even worse now soon. If they're given EU ascension, yeah, while they're applying, they could come across. They could come into EU. They can just flood into EU willy-nilly, go backwards and forwards as they desire. Yeah, it's free movement.
Everton,
So
can I say
you
something?
Yeah.
Can I say something? Yeah, right. Strip
Yeah,
away
sure.
everything that we've just said, yeah, and
Yeah.
take it back to the basics. The process that they've
Yeah.
employed in this whole procedure of this Rwandan thing is no different to how we were trafficked in slavery. You could
Mm.
be a slave on a farm, then you're sold to somebody else away from your family, yeah, to a different
Yeah.
slave master, or a different slave.
Mm.
So this is just a dress up of that same principle that took place all those hundreds of years ago.
Right.
It's a game.
Okay, I'll say.
Nothing's different.
Okay, I'll
So
say one
somebody
thing again.
in
Like I
Rwanda
said,
is just stripped away from the family like a slave and taken somewhere else. There's no difference whatsoever. So the government itself is involved in trafficking.
right.
No
This
difference.
is the where we. Okay, this is what we call anchoring again, right? Yeah. So, just as Neville wanted to try and bring up the Rwanda's past in the 90s with the genocide in the 90s, yeah, and they've worked hard to put that behind them, yeah. And people want to make it what happened in 1990 is almost like it's happened today, yeah, right? To bring and that's their identity now, right? Yeah. Same thing for this way of trying to bend everything to say it's this is similar to slavery, how people traffic in slavery. Yeah, very emotive. People could agree. Oh yeah, Nadia, yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah, right. Very, very true. But it's not. It's a completely different thing. For example, my son tried to say that the Boris Johnson cabinet had gone on strike. He tried to characterize it as a strike. Yeah, right. And that was a meme. It was a meme. This is considering conservatives against strikes on a controlled strike action, for the cabinet to go on strike was a laughable, was a funny thing. Yeah, but they weren't. Well, it wasn't a strike. They resigned. When you're on strike, you don't resign your job. You pick it and don't let no one else do your job. But you haven't left your job, and you hope that the boss would give in and give you a pay rise or change in pay and conditions as required. Yeah, so it wasn't a strike. Yeah, what you've just done is a similar thing by saying what the government's doing is like echoes of slavery. Yeah, right. And then everyone's going to nod their head. Yeah, that's right. Echo of slavery. I don't think it is, but
I will say one thing. Let me say one thing. I went to Germany with the group in 1983, 1984. Right?
Yeah.
And I know people can say, well, the Second World War finished in 1945. Yeah. Enough time for them to be okay. Yeah. We could we could book a hotel on the phone.
Yeah.
When we got to the hotel, all of a sudden, there's no rooms. What caused that?
Yeah.
What do you think caused that?
But see, Neville, you do that same thing again, right? Yeah. No, but Neville, right? I have to agree with you, right? Yeah. Maybe the Germans have got a problem with ethnicity and a bit.
But I'm saying a bit. Time period,
but you're bringing up an old story.
It's not that much. 1994 to 2020, it's not that much time.
1994.
Yeah.
Or 2022. No, but I've been to Germany loads of times.
Yeah, I know.
I work for the ECB. I've been there backwards and forwards all the time. Yeah.
I
don't think I've ever encountered any racism in Germany.
There's a difference between.
I think the Germans have a problem.
I love Germany. I think it's an absolutely beautiful country. I love it. But that's the trouble that we had. And in fact, what happened is we had to get our agent to phone them and say, you told us there was a room, this is the group, put them in, and then they let us in. There's nothing wrong with the rooms.
But Neville, right? I don't know why you bring up these old stories for, right? Yeah.
Because I'm relating it to Rwanda, for Christ's sake.
No.
It might be okay. It might be.
Yeah. It might be. Oh, good. Okay, that's a good story then.
That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is 40 years later, when we went, we had a problem. Who knows what's going to happen to those people when they get sent over there? Because don't forget, they're not white, they're not black. Some of them might be black,
exactly.
But they're all different colours. So they might have problems.
Yeah. No, yeah. I remember in the old days, right? Yeah, where we went to. I think Tony. No, you're too young. You probably didn't go. When Pauline went to, we also go to Amsterdam by the ferry, get a coach.
No, I never went.
We used to get to France we used to get those temporary passports. Remember, cardboard ones. Remember from the post office?
Yeah. I remember.
And we get across to Paris to Calais, and they turn us back.
See now, you see
Calais.
Again, we've had trouble.
A whole coachload of black people. Yeah?
We've had trouble going to Netherlands in France, where they came on a coach, over had a Jamaican passport. They took him off the bus and sent him back.
Jamaican passport. Yeah, but Jamaican passport, you can't. They got a visa, unless you applied for a visa.
That's what they said. You got a visa, but then they looked at me and said,
"That's right."
They looked at mine and they said, British, yeah?" I said, "Yes, British." Okay. So in France.
No, but you can't blame them for that. No, but Neville, if you had a Jamaican passport trying to get into the country, Jamaican passport.
That's Orville's problem. He was clinging to he was born in Jamaica. He was living on his dual passport.
All he had to do was apply for a visa, and it'd be all right.
He needed a visa.
Well, when I went to America, I had to have a visa. Okay.
Anyone got any more thoughts on
okay.
politics?
So Kimmy's not going to win anyway, but
She's
there you
not
go.
winning.
But I think she's a good show. She's a good show. But that's good.
Sunak's not winning. Who's behind you? Taggart, what's his name? Taggart, whatever.
Taggart is not winning. Yeah, he's not winning.
You mean
I
Tugendhat?
never heard of him.
Tugendhat.
Behind you with,
I
Tony,
know,
the one behind you with
I've
the
heard of
blonde
him.
hair.
How's I pronounce his name? Tugendhat. Okay, I've heard of him. Sorry, I've heard of him.
Are you talking about Tom Tugendhat?
Tugendhat,
Yeah,
Tom
yeah, yeah.
Tugendhat? Yeah.
Tony,
It's
the
he's
one, behind you,
he's
the,
fifth.
the one behind you with the blonde hair, Liz Truss, I wouldn't trust her if I gave her a shopping list and she went to my local
Watch her. She could well be a dark horse, mate. Seriously.
Yeah, but she's
I hope not.
no offense, she's thick as pigs. And I think probably the best
Well,
one
we could have a female prime minister, female home office, home secretary, and a female chancellor. Hey,
you know what?
let's spend that
No
money
way
so
Britain's doing
fast.
that. There's no way Britain's going to do that.
They just see these things as gimmicks. Penny
Britain
Morden,
is still
I
part
think
of the Carlton
Penny
Club.
Morden,
It's still
I
part of the
think Penny
Carlton
Morden,
Club.
I'm putting my money on Penny Morden.
Hang on. So you know when somebody does get in September?
Yeah.
How long's the term for?
2.5 years, 2.5 years before the next election.
No, it's not 2.5 years, is it? It's less than 2 years.
Is it? 2.5.
2024.
But they can
2024,
call.
isn't it?
But they can call for one, can't
2024.
They can
Yeah,
call
but
it
it's a
if
big
they
high
want to.
watermark.
They can call it if they want
It's
to, but
hard
they won't, will they? They won't call it. They won't call one now. Did you see Boris blocked the Labour Party from
Yeah.
allowing them to call the government into what was it called?
Vote no confidence.
A vote of no confidence. And
Don't watch
he
Boris
decided-
now. You see when Boris goes? You see when Boris goes in September? Boris is going to be a thorn in the side of the Tory party.
the Tory party. Yes, he will be. Yeah.
No,
one
well,
is watching
ex-leaders are, because they're very angry at the beginning.
He will.
When Ted Heath
He
did
will.
the same thing.
He'll be more of a
They're very angry.
He'll be
They,
more of a- He'll be more of a
Yeah.
thorn than Margaret Thatcher with John Major.
You know why?
Thorn.
No,
And he'll
why?
do it.
Because his wife is really annoyed. His wife liked being the wife of
Yeah.
the prime minister. She's flipping annoyed. She
There
just
you
put
go.
him on the table, you
I'm
idiot.
going to say,
Well,
I
well, that's
don't think Boris is going to stop in politics because once
He
they
may
left
not, he
that
may not.
office, they go and start making masses of money for doing absolutely rock all. That's all these.
I mean,
companies-
like Tony Blair and David
Listen,
Miliband.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I might be
Their
Labour.
associate.
I might be Labour.
And Chuka
But I would-
Anuma.
Listen, I may be a Labour
You
person.
think- you
I'll
think
take Tony
Boris-
Blair. I'll
Boris
take
will go-
Tony Blair
Boris
to the
will go down
gallows
and
and chop that
storm.
man's head off.
Boris
Yeah.
will go down and storm in the Ukraine. That's
Yeah,
where he's going.
Boris-
That's where he'll make his money.
Boris
He'll
gonna
make
do
his
that.
money in Ukraine, mate. Trust
And
me.
he's going to sit on a few boards, not do anything, but being paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a year for
Yeah.
nothing. So
Yeah,
that's what
that's
he's
what
going
he'll
to
do.
start making his money now.
The Boris Johnson Foundation.
Yeah, no. No,
Okay,
Yeah.
well, guys, I wanna-
Blonde
I wanna-
coming.
I want to wrap this up
Okay.
tonight.
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for your contributions. Next week, I'm hoping that Leonard is going to be here.
Hang on,
Um,
before you wrap it up, can I just say one thing? I need you to go
Um,
around the table. I want everybody to say who they think is going to win it. I've given mine.
Oh, who did he give? Say again.
I think Mordaunt.
I don't think so.
I think Richie.
You Sunak.
Yeah, Sunak. Richie
Yeah,
Sunak.
yeah. Same here.
So Sunak's going to come
It's-
in. He's
I'm
going to
not-
sort out the finances
It's
and the finances that he set up himself. Yeah.
It's between Sunak, I believe, and Liz Truss. And you know something? I think that Liz Truss is more of a winner
You reckon?
because she's white.
Cheese woman.
and she-
Because she's white.
woman.
She's white and she's
The cheese
female.
woman.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I believe that Liz Truss might just steal it from Rishi. If Rishi
Yeah.
becomes the first non-white prime minister, then great. But something tells me that in the mix, because it's all down to the 1922 committee as well,
No,
they
it's
are
not.
the dark lords.
It's down to the media. The media is
They are-
digging up
they
dirt
are the
on
dark
Richie
lords.
right here. They're
They
are
digging
the
it up.
dark
They're
lords.
posting it on
They're
Facebook.
in the media.
Yeah.
It's all over
I'm
Facebook.
concerned, right?
Let's not forget they've got that video of him now saying,
They are the dark
I don't
lords.
Yeah,
have
but
They are
any
the dark
working
lords. I
cash.
believe that they'll
But
possibly
Neville,
move
do that
this
again.
election.
He said
What?
that when he was a teenager. Right,
It
yeah?
doesn't
When he was
matter.
a teenager
It
was saying
doesn't-
that, right? Yeah. We want
it
to make
doesn't
it as
make
if
any
we said it yesterday. That's
It
the
doesn't
same
make any
trick.
difference. It doesn't make
It does.
any difference.
The thing is,
I was a communist. When I was 16, I was a communist when I was 16.
Are you a communist?
Not now.
Hang on. No,
That's
Everton,
Yeah,
Everton, you were a communist.
What?
he was.
You were a communist.
Communist now. But
You were
now,
before.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I drive a Mercedes now. Oh, I got for birthday present a Mercedes E-Class.
Well done.
Vladimir Putin was a communist, and what is he now? He's part of the Russian elite, so that
Was
means
that,
what?
Yeah.
You bought your birthday present?
But I bought it myself, sort of, right? Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
I mean, I was allowed to get it. More like, yeah.
Xi Jinping.
Hey, Everton.
What's that?
Everton.
Convertible.
Everton,
Convertible.
Xi
What?
Jinping
Hang on,
is
Everton.
part of the Communist
Have you
Party,
bought?
and they're the biggest capitalist out.
Have you bought a new? Have you bought a new teacup? And have you got seats that can't spill tea on in the car?
No,
What?
I'll do that next.
Yeah. So when he
I'll
gets
do
banished to the car again, he's got
Yeah.
a soft top now, isn't he? So if it rains
Oh.
when you get banished to the car again, you need to put
Oh,
that
what-
roof
oh,
on very quickly.
Has he bought Cabriolet?
Yeah, cabriolet. Yeah,
Which one?
yeah. E-Class.
What year?
E300.
What year?
Oh, 2019, I think.
Oh, the curve back. The curve back.
This conversation is so 1980s. I mean, everything's going to be saying next, load the money.
I
For
love
heaven's
it.
sake.
No, but
Get over
listen,
yourself,
and,
man.
and do you know what else got on my nerves the other day? When they started
What's
having to go at our deputy leader, what's her name?
The
Red
deputy
hair.
leader.
No, no.
Maybe deputy leader.
No.
Oh,
No.
No,
Angela Rayner.
Angela Rayner.
Angela
Because-
Rayner. Yeah.
Because she went to
She's nice looking, you know. She's nice looking.
she's a nice
actually.
girl.
Yeah.
Because she went to
Yeah,
she went to the ballet and was drinking champagne. Rob called
Yeah.
her champagne socialist.
Champagne socialism. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
because we don't vote Tory, we
Appreciate
can't buy champagne and we can't go to.
That's right.
It's just
That's
great.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
but the
It's
fact
wrong. It's been wrong.
At
the
least she
wrong
was
kind of
drinking
white- one type
champagne,
of
but she
white
never
woman.
spent the money on a duck house or a tree house, which cost her £50,000 or whatever it
That's
is,
not a
right?
story.
What's drinking champagne
spent-
at an opera
never
compared to
spent the
spending
money in
money
duck
on a
house.
flipping tree house?
Angela, go and enjoy
Owen.
Marlborough. I'll buy you a couple of bottles.
Okay, then, so final
Okay.
words then, lads.
Fine word.
I know something. I'm gonna be an outsider here. I'm gonna
Go on
say, Femi, Kemi,
Tony,
Really?
good luck, mate.
Well, like I
Wait,
say,
Kemi.
You know
I'm
what?
gonna-
I'll
If she
come and
wins
visit
right
you
now,
in
I'll be
this
dizzy.
hospital.
No, if she wins, I'll be like this. I'll be dizzy. I'll just fall over. I'll faint, honestly.
If-
It'll
But-
be short-lived anyway.
I'll come and visit you at
2 years.
Newcastle Hospital in the mental ward if she wins. If she
But
doesn't,
guys,
win, you better come and visit me.
what's Alan saying and what's Janet saying?
Janet's gone.
Janet's gone.
Alan,
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm
Alan,
still
wake,
here.
Alan, wake up. Who do you
I'm
think is
still
going to win
What's
this?
that Alan saying? What's
Who
that
do you
Alan
think is gonna
saying?
win this?
Give him a chance.
What about the candidates?
The Buffalo Soldier.
Well,
Yeah,
while you lot have been talking,
the Tory
while
dross.
you lot have been talking, listen. While you lot have been talking, and what I said earlier, that the candidate that's going to be selected will be a supporter of Israel and basically the Jewish community. And I've researched
who's
it
that?
while you were talking,
Who's that?
and every
Who's
single one of them, every single one of them support Israel. And I told you the
Well, there
link
you
to the 1922 committee. So whoever
But
gets
Alan,
in,
who do you think
Yeah.
is going to win the
Alan,
race?
stop sitting
Who
on
do
the
you think-
fence.
Right, who's
Give
gonna
us
win
a
the race?
name.
I think for nostalgia, they'll find another woman prime minister.
Nah, please no.
I think
No,
so.
two guys.
Yeah.
There's 3 women
got-
and 2 men.
Got a point.
We're
Why do you
outnumbered.
say that,
I
Alan?
think
Alan, we're
I think
outnumbered.
it'll be
There's
that
2
one.
men.
I think it'll be the young lady.
3
It won't be the
women.
black woman. It won't be the black
Who?
woman.
Kemi?
Which one?
You really
Yeah,
think so?
it won't be her. It won't be her at all.
Liz Truss.
But I think it might be the other, not Trust, the other one.
Morden.
Penny Morden.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
To be
Her
fair,
name,
It doesn't
Penny.
matter how. It doesn't,
To be
it doesn't
fair,
really
Can't
matter
have a
on their
prime minister named
ability.
Penny.
it's
Sorry.
Penelope-
Listen,
Penelope-
it doesn't-
it's Penelope.
It's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with their ability. Look how they swap members around to run different things like the healthcare system.
That's how it
Javier
works.
was running that. What was his ability
You know,
to
right,
do
yeah.
it? Was he even a doctor?
Alan.
Any
Nadeem,
medical experience? None whatsoever.
is it Nadeem Sahawi?
Yeah,
Zakawi?
And the
Zahawi.
education secretary, David was the
Eliminated,
education secretary as well.
He had to
None
go
of them have
because
the ability
he
to do
couldn't
the
tell you
job
what
that
he
they've been
got to
nominated
do.
for.
No, Alan, you missed the point. And that's not how it works. Never, even when labouring doesn't work like that, right? Yeah, right. Very rarely do you get a guy or minister who has lifetime interest in that field. What happens in House of Lords, you might
Exactly.
get that, but in House of Lords, if someone's of lifetime interest in, say, shipping, they might be put into some shipping subcommittee, yeah, and they'll be discussing it at length, and that advice will go to the relevant minister, yeah. The relevant minister will have to frame the policy, and then their policy writers, whole team of civil servants, will come up with all the document to be voted on.
The Lord's
So-
more specific, aren't they?
No,
Whereas the
Labour,
Commons is
even
more
Labour does the same thing. So I don't know what everyone's talking about. Oh, that's not it. I could be CEO of a petrochemical company 1 year, and next year be CEO of Mothercare. Yeah, at that level, it's
Mothercare
interchangeable.
closed
It doesn't
down?
matter.
Has
What?
Mothercare closed down?
Not Mothercare,
Slow
but yeah, okay,
manufacturers.
but I'll use that as an example because that BP guy was head of Mothercare, then before he became head of
Well,
BP.
you think that
Yeah.
that somebody would
Gentlemen,
have
I'm
some
going to sign off,
expertise.
mate. Okay.
Okay,
Hang on,
okay.
just 2 seconds. 2 seconds.